So today is the beginning of my third week at sea, and the sun has just risen. So let me just show you what the sun looks like, and take special note of what the clouds look like. So we're looking north right now, and there's the sunrise. We're about 40 miles southwest of Bermuda right now. It's looking south. And then as we begin to look to the east, we're noticing very, very dark clouds on the horizon, and the clouds are building. So we're expecting a cold front to pass through in the next 6 hours. And with that, I'm expecting winds in excess of 30 knots and seas in excess of 8 feet. That's a lot for Wave Rover. So I'll be putting the storm sails on in the next couple of hours, and in every other respect, Wave Rover is ready for heavy weather. Well, it's about 8:30 in the morning here. I'm expecting the heavy weather to arrive around noon, but in all respects, Wave Rover is ready for that heavy weather now. I've put the storm sail on. I've removed the jib and taken it right below. Normally, I just coil it up on deck, or I furl it up on deck, and I fasten it to the lifelines, but I want to reduce my windage. And below, everything has been stowed. I've had breakfast. I've washed the dishes, I've put them away. There's anything that could fly around has been removed. So in all respects, Wave Rover is ready for heavy weather, and I'm expecting it probably in the next 2 hours. The reason I put the storm sail up so early is because this is the first time I'm flying it. If you recall from an earlier episode in the Canary Islands, that's where a sailmaker, Keith, and I worked on it and prepared it. It was actually a storm sail for a much bigger boat, and we recut it to make it appropriate size for Wave Rover, and I'll show you that right now. Very colorful orange sail. So obviously these aren't really the conditions that you would have a storm sail up in, but it's a cold front that'll be passing through. And I've been through a few of these before, and they come on with astonishing speed. So if you have the heads up, and in this case my barometer has fallen a full 6 millibars since noon yesterday, so that's quite a lot. That's telling me that indeed we are in for a pretty good blow. And the forecast that my brother texted me the other day is telling me to expect winds in excess of 30 knots and seas higher than 8 feet. Now, those conditions are going to be really intense but brief. The whole system should have passed through in about 36 hours, and after that we'll regain our track. Right now, it's not that important to me to stay on track. The only important thing to me is to remember that Bermuda is only 40 miles away. And in fact, the shallows off the southwest of Bermuda, which can be treacherous in this kind of weather, they're only about 30 miles away. So my safe track is to head west, head away from Bermuda, and that's also facing into the storm. So I'll be facing into the seas, and I should be facing into the storm, so the storm will pass over more quickly. Anyway, that's my morning report on my heavy weather readiness. It's been about half an hour to 45 minutes since the last update, but in that time, to the northwest, the clouds have really darkened up, and I'm beginning to see whitecaps forming from that direction. The sails have certainly filled in as well. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Very dark. Hope the camera can pick up the white caps that are just beginning to form in the distance, and they'll be approaching here in a matter of probably half an hour to an hour. And also nice view of the storm sail. The main is triple reefed. And then to our west, we have much better looking clouds. We even have a little bit of blue in the sky.
These birds have been following Wave Rover for about a week. And if you know their proper name, leave a comment in the comment section, please.
The wind has veered now from what it was this morning when it was south. It's now veered to northwest. Veered means that it's going clockwise. If the wind is going the opposite direction, it's called being backed. So in this case, the wind is veering to the north. We're looking at approximately 25 knots right now, but it's gusting much higher. And I can tell you, if you go out on deck right now, you're going to get wet. So right now, Wave Rover is heading to windward. We're only making about 2.5, maybe 3 knots. And we're heading in a northeasterly direction. This is expected to continue on now for another 18 hours or so, maybe 24. You're probably wondering what it looks like and feels like inside Wave Rover on a day like today, so I'm just going to do a little 360 with the camera so you can get a feeling for that. There's the lee cloth. It's actually a piece of the storm sail after the sailmaker had cut to make the new storm sail for Wave Rover. This was a piece of leftover fabric, so I grabbed it, put a couple of grommets in, and I used it as a lee cloth to keep me in the bunk during weather like this. Apart from that, things are pretty cozy. Fair bit of movement, I can tell you that, and you really have to hang on whenever you move from one spot to another Last thing you want to do is get thrown around and break a bone, especially as a solo sailor. Quite often the window on the leeward side here is awash. There we go. And of course the hatch. And you'll notice that on the hatch I do in fact have the bungee cord holding it shut. So that's the tour of Wave Rover.
Join me in the next episode as I make a decision to heave to compensate for this heavy weather.